Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now Dillian Whyte, obviously he will no longer be fighting Alexander Povetkin in January due to the COVID problem that Alexander Povetkin has suffered. He suffered from a worse bout of it than was first suspected, so he won't be ready for January. Now what does Dillian Whyte do? Does he fight an opponent in the interim? Say Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz, those were the names mentioned by Eddie Hearn. Or does he wait it out and fight Alexander Povetkin? Well, I think that the question that is better than that is how long will it take Alexander Povetkin to come back? Can he do it in, say, March, which is when they are looking at for Dillian Whyte to fight next? So if he can fight Povetkin in March, then yes, he should be fighting Povetkin. I don't think there is any reason as to why he should fight someone in the interim, then fight Povetkin later in the year. Now, I think that Dillian Whyte is going to fight 3 times next year because he is interested in having a fight in early 2021, then in the middle of 2021, then coming back later on in the back end of the year. So we can expect Dillian Whyte to be fighting 3 times a year, and one of those opponents will be Alexander Povetkin. Should it be Povetkin next? Yes, it should be. The only reason why it shouldn't is if Povetkin is not ready in the early stages of 2021. If he has to wait a little bit longer, I think he should still wait, because that is the opponent, that is the big fight. Other than Deontay Wilder, maybe Andy Ruiz, but I'd say other than Deontay Wilder, there is no bigger fight for Dillian Whyte, considering what happened in the first fight. So this is the big fight for Dillian Whyte at the moment, and Andy Ruiz is another risky fight, a fight that he doesn't need to take, and probably isn't even as big as the Povetkin fight right now. Ortiz is out of the picture when it comes to the magnitude of the event that Dillian Whyte will be in. You would have to say that the rest of the opponents that are being considered for Dillian Whyte, including Povetkin, have bigger profiles than Luis Ortiz. So I guess you would have to question, what is the goal for Dillian Whyte at the moment? Does he want to take a risky fight in the interim, then risk that Alexander Povetkin fight that he is contracted to have? Because let's remember, Povetkin is currently WBC interim champion, the status that Dillian Whyte previously held and was won by Povetkin. So that is an extremely important fight for Dillian Whyte. So there isn't much point in Dillian Whyte taking an interim fight if only a few months after he can fight Alexander Povetkin, because as I said, that is the biggest fight that he can have with regards to him getting a world title opportunity. He doesn't want to risk that in a fight again. I mean, he'd done that the first time around against Povetkin. He risked his position, which he didn't need to do. He would be mandatory to Tyson Fury next year if he didn't take that Povetkin fight, but that is what Dillian Whyte does, and you have to commend him for that, but I don't think he needs to do it again. Povetkin is the opponent, Povetkin is the important fight. Yes, I would love to see him in there with Deontay Wilder, but let's be real, that's not going to happen. Andy Ruiz, let's be real, that's not going to happen, purely down to Deontay Wilder probably won't fight Dillian Whyte because he's never wanted to in the past. Yes, it's a big opportunity for him, but it's a tough fight. Does he want to lose to Tyson Fury? Then lose to Dillian Whyte? Probably not. I mean, I'm not saying he's definitely going to lose to Dillian Whyte, but it is a risky 50-50 fight. Then Andy Ruiz Jr. hasn't fought for a year since Anthony Joshua, and has started working with a new team. He's not going to take a tough fight like Dillian Whyte. Then finally we have Luis Ortiz, which is a good fight, but I just don't know what Dillian Whyte gets out of it by beating him. It would be a good fight if Dillian Whyte didn't have anyone else to fight, but again, it doesn't really have that kind of a storyline. It doesn't really have that motive for Dillian Whyte. I think that the other ones do. So considering that, it should be Povetkin who Dillian Whyte waits for, because that is the fight that will get him back on track to a world title opportunity. I think that Dillian Whyte has taken enough risks on his road to trying to get a world title opportunity. It's Alexander Povetkin, then hopefully he does finally get a shot. It might not be in 2021. It might be in 2022, but as long as he's back on that track, he doesn't need to be fighting anyone that risks his position with Alexander Povetkin and that WBC Interim World Championship. Plus, as I said, I don't see those guys taking the fights anyway. Luis Ortiz might he even come out and said that he would fight Dillian Whyte, but that's only because he doesn't really have many other options at this current point. So I could see that fight being made, but I think it will be Alexander Povetkin next for Dillian Whyte. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.